brought up in an Indian household, you know, your relatives don't call you any other time. They call you when the 10th results are.
Exactly.
How much he got? And my mom, that time she forgets she's Christian. He got 80%. 80%.
Praise the Lord, brothers and sisters, and welcome to Season 1, Episode 4 of Seat of Wisdom podcast, presented by the youth of CHARIS UAE. In today's episode, we're going to talk about some things we all experience as Christians: the search for right answers, the search for our faith, and ultimately, the search for our vocation. Thus, in today's episode, we have two very important individuals who are going to talk about a very important topic, the search, and the whole experience they have involved with this. So welcome Larina and Keegan. Welcome to Seat of Wisdom. How are you guys?
We're good.
We're
good. Thank you for inviting us. We are happy to be here. And we are happy to talk about our faith.
How about you guys talk about, I know you guys are part of a blaze. Can you talk about something about yourself?
I'll go first.
Yeah.
Because ladies.
I thought it was ladies.
Yeah, so ladies first.
Okay.
So hi, my name is Keegan. I'm an advertising professional. I'm a copywriter. Most people don't know what that job is about, but I write advertisements. I've been in Dubai for 10 years now. So it's been a decade in Dubai. I'm born and brought up.
Long time.
Yeah, I'm born and brought up in Bombay. So through
The Bombay guy, huh?
Bombay guy.
Bombay.
Yes, represent Bombay.
Represent.
Yeah. Apart from that, I'm a musician. I play for a Blaze. That's a gospel rock band. I'm a big fan of Marvel movies. And I'm also a big Funko Pop collector. So my house is filled with Funko Pop, which my wife hates. And I'm the husband of Larina, who is sitting next to me. So I will go ahead and again.
What do you have to say to whatever he just said?
Yeah, about the Funko Pops, it's true. He has
I don't have much.
buying it every
15.
month.
Every month?
Yeah, he buys one Funko Pop per month.
Two
Okay,
Funko Pops
maybe two.
every month. Yeah.
So,
Sounds correct. Okay, yeah.
yeah, so I'm Larina and I work as an engineer for my day job. And at home, I love K-drama. I love baking. I've been in a Blaze for about 6 years now, but I've been in the ministry for, I don't know, as long as I can remember, maybe since I was 11 or so. So, yeah.
Wow. So Keegan, you mentioned about a blaze. Both of you guys, if you can, give a brief history of how it all began, how was the band formed, anything.
Larry?
So Ablaze actually was, we were 3 members which were part of a different band.
Right.
And when we were going for World Youth Day in 2016, we were asked by one of our great friends from Master Plan to go ahead as a band. But we knew that only 3 of us were going for World Youth Day, so we didn't have enough musicians. Right. But we had friends who used to play different instruments who were coming with us to World Youth Day. So we asked them, and that's how the band was formed. We got together and we decided to play as a band. We didn't know if we would be invited, but we decided to play anyway.
Yeah, and it was very funny because Larina and I, we were part of a band before Ablaze. We were part of a band called The Upper Room. Right. So for creative differences and whatever reasons, the band had split up. Right. And we were in a place where we were not really sure of what we were going to do with the band. So when this opportunity came our way, or this sign came our way, I got in touch with Joseph and Larry, and we were like, we need to go to play for Poland. And we didn't have anything. We didn't have any songs. We didn't have anything. So we decided to collect whatever we had and put in an application. And we didn't even know who the band members would be. Slowly and steadily, I think so it was God's plan to bring us together. So we got a lead female singer who's Kershi. We didn't have somebody.
She's amazing,
Yeah,
she's amazing.
She's
amazing. She used to actually dance. She used to be a dance crew for the old band. And I remember we were in Pota and we were singing Power of Your Love for Mass. And Kershi was singing and I heard her voice and I was like, wow.
Why is she dancing?
Why is she dancing?
Why is she not singing with us? And then that was the first name that popped up in my head. And then we were like, we asked her and she joined us. we needed somebody who could play the drums or some kind of percussions to make some noise. So we had this friend of ours who's from Lebanon, whose name is Anthony. He was in the core team of the youth group that we were part of. So we asked him, and he could only play the darbuka, and he could beatbox with his mouth. Yeah. So he said yes. And eventually, we needed somebody to hold the band together, which is the bassist, who is always in the background and not so important, many people think, but it's the most important part of the band.
It is, yeah.
And we found Johan, who was a young guy. He was just 18 years old. Yeah. And all of us were musicians who used to, like, at least Larina and all, we were playing at probably retreats, but the rest of them were musicians in their bedrooms. And, they were just learning. So they just came out trusting completely in God's plans. We had a few practices together. Not a few, I think so. We really worked hard in the months before the retreat started.
We were practicing till about 12.
Yeah, almost
in the night,
every day. That we were. So God saw that the effort we were putting in, and then we went to Poland and we played for the first time in Poland. I think so. First, we were just asked to play at one venue.
Okay.
So we were like, yeah, it's all right, man. We've never played anywhere, so one venue is also great.
Why not? Yeah, why not?
Why not?
It's an opportunity.
Yeah, it's better than no venues. So we were like, yeah, one venue, we'll go there. Right. And just before we would leave to Poland, we got a call from the event managing team of World Youth Day. And they said, would you guys play for another event?
Right.
However, it is at least 2.5 hours, 3 hours away from where we are staying in Krakow. And they said, don't worry, we will take care of everything. We will drive you there and all of that. The first event we went for, it was at around 8:30, 9 o'clock-ish. And we went to play. It was on a barge. It was on a boat. And we were playing.
And you mentioned, I think there's something that happened over there.
Yes.
Yeah. So there's something amazing that happened. Nobody came. So we were on the barge and there were 7 people in the crowd. And there were 8 people, out of which 5 people were from Kershi's family. And there were just 3 random, cheering.
Yeah.
There were just random 3 people over there. And but there was something beautiful that happened. God always works in ways we can't.
So Keegan, you mentioned on the first day you had 7 people for the show, for the concert. What happened the next day?
So obviously we are disappointed, because we've gone there and we had a lot of issues, or I would say obstacles, while on our road to Poland. The devil doesn't like it.
Exactly.
So there was a lot of expectations, and some of those expectations were like shattered. That's a big word to say, but they kind of like, we didn't meet them. So we were like, what is it? But God has a way to humble you. He just wants you to be there. And he was just, I think so, preparing us for something big. Right. And that's exactly what happened. I think so Larina would be the best person to tell you what happened, because a few months before we could fly to Poland, we had a prayer meeting and somebody was preaching and they prayed over us, and Larina had a vision. And that vision came through in Poland. So Larina, I think so you would be the best person to tell what happened.
More than months, it was actually a year before.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
12 months. 12 months.
Yeah. So,
that's a lot of months.
Yeah. So what happened really was a week before we were supposed to fly to Poland, we got the invitation to play at the second place. And it was a tiny village, really far away. We didn't know if it was, worth the effort of taking all our instruments and going all the way there. We didn't know how we were going to travel because they hadn't told us till the last minute. We were so unsure of it, and we really questioned it. But because the invitation had come to us, we said, you know what, if God is calling us to go, we are going to go for it. It doesn't matter if there's no one for the concert. We're just going to play for an audience of 1, and that's going to be God. So we decided to go ahead with it. And when we reached there, as we were practicing or setting up and things like that, we were in the backstage area. And I happened to notice the background. And I said, I have seen this before somewhere. I just don't know where I've seen it. But I couldn't remember where. And that's when I was taken back to a year before. I was having this period of dryness in my faith. And I felt like God wasn't talking to me. He wasn't revealing any of his plans. And I was feeling so empty. I was feeling lost. And I don't know, my faith was wavering at that time. And around that time, a preacher had come in, and he decided to pray with me. He said, God always talks to you. It may not be in the way you want him to talk to you. He's going to talk to you in some way that he sees fit. He's going to see a way that you are going to understand. It may not be the way you expect it to. And so he said, let's pray together. And during that prayer, I saw a vision of a stage. I saw mountains in the background. It was night. There was a lot of crowd. We were doing a concert, and there was a sword hanging in the air, and I couldn't make head or tail of it because it made no sense to me, because we were at a stage where we were kind of having differences between members of the previous band. So it really made no sense. And when I came there, I noticed almost everything was the same, but it was daylight. So I knew that the vision had night. So maybe, I'm just imagining things. But when we got onto stage, the performance before us was a violin performance or something, and it started raining. And they had to take down all the setup of the stage. They had to close down all the systems and everything. And by the time we actually got onto stage, it was night. And that's when I realized everything was in there as part of the vision. And that was one of the most powerful experiences we've had as a band till date. I don't think we've had any other, I think there's maybe one other performance, but there was just this one that was, we could feel God's presence so strongly in this praise and worship that we did.
And then we went to a chapel, and that's when we found our patron saint also.
Of the band, yes.
Of the band. We went there because it was raining, went to the chapel, we started praying, and Kershi took out a prayer of Saint Cecilia. Yeah, who was her patron saint for her confirmation.
Yes.
And she took out and she told us to pray that. And when we were at the chapel and we looked up to the art that was there, because Poland and Europe, Saint Cecilia was on top of us. I don't know how. It was Saint Cecilia on top of us. And I was like, this looks same. and it was such a moment. And that was like confirmation that God was with us at that moment. Exactly. And I'll tell you, most of us, as I said before, were bedroom musicians. Right. So we have limited skills. Right. So, and I feel, in the Bible it says, place carefully into the Lord. And I feel it's like most of them misinterpreted, I have to play I don't know, some great musician. But God's saying that you play according to what you have to, and I will fill in the gaps. Right. And that's what exactly happens every time we play. And the reason why I'm telling you is that's what exactly happened when we were playing at that concert. We were just a few musicians who just started off. Anthony only knew to play the cajon. Cajon is played in a small setup where we were using acoustic guitars, but we were playing at a big stage, a huge stage. And with
10,000, you mentioned something like that.
Yeah, we did expect.
Yeah.
So
we expected no one.
From 10,000.
10,000. So what happened was Anthony started, he went and sat down over there on his cajon, and he was playing, and we were using electric guitars and everything, and we didn't expect the sound to be so big, right? You're not going to expect that. But God filled it, and his cajon started sounding like the drums, and there was so much power on that stage, God's power, not our power. We were just mere human beings. And because of that power, there were so many people who was attracted, and by God's power, not our power, attracted. And as we said, there were 10,000 people in that place, and we were standing on stage, and we could see just a sea of humanity. And then there was darkness, because there was people even in that darkness, and people were standing
on rooftops and balconies.
And we didn't know the magnitude of what God was doing.
And did you guys go in your mind, God, are you for real?
Yeah,
7 to 10,000, are you for real?
I felt that is the most real we felt that God was there. Yeah. And I remember there was a priest who had driven us to that place, and he came up to us and he's like, guys, there's never these many people in this village or in this place. This is the first time we've seen so many people.
They just came.
Yes.
They came from nowhere. And
God's plan.
God's plan. And I'll tell you one very small of Brother Steve Kuban, yeah. So we asked him, can we play the song Jump for Jesus?
Okay.
And we played that song. Well, not a big song, but still, we played the song Jump for Jesus. And I remember Joseph standing on stage and he's saying, all right, everybody to the left, separate, and everybody's on the right, separate. And it was a Moses moment for Joseph because we just saw the sea of humans part in the center. And I think so, we took a photo or something and we sent it to Brother Steve and he wrote an entire blog about it.
Yes.
He was really touched. He's not Catholic, he's Christian. And that forced him to write a blog about World Youth Day.
Wow.
So he wrote a blog about World Youth Day in Canada when he went. And that's what the power of God is.
God's plan again.
Yeah,
Yes.
changes hearts.
We just change the name of the episode to God's plan.
Yeah, maybe. And there's so many times when we play, there's so many times when we play,
Yeah.
there are instruments we can hear.
Yeah. There's so many times I've heard violins, I've heard flutes, bells. I don't know. They sound like they are coming from somewhere else, but they're not from my keyboard, and I know they're definitely not from the musicians
from
who
the
there.
room.
Yeah, it's not from the room at all, and it just fills the place, and it sounds so heavenly.
Yeah.
It's beautiful, and those are the moments when I know that God's presence is there in that praise and worship.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Do you have anything, something like that?
Yeah, I think so. It's my voice. My voice. If I had to sing any other time.
I think Larina hears instruments and you just hear Larina's voice.
Yeah, I think so. I
He
think so.
can play. And before we get into that, I just want to ask you, as a band, I think that was your first, first time you
that
ever
was
played.
the first time we played.
Now, and you've never played in front of an audience?
No,
or
before
whatever.
that, never.
Now, before the formation of the band, I mean, what kind of music you used to listen to? I mean, any secular music, or was it always Christian music?
For me, I hated secular. I loved secular music. What am I saying? I loved secular music and I hated it. I despised gospel music. I'll tell you a very short anecdote of my life. My mom converted. So we were Catholic, but we were, I don't know, everywhere
Outstanding
around.
Catholics.
We were everywhere around. And my mom had this conversion when she went to Father Rufus's prayer meeting. And then she started listening to a lot of, gospel music.
Christian music, yeah.
Clap your hands and all of that. Yeah. So she got a cassette of this Christian artist called Steve Kuban.
Okay.
Many people will not know his name, but you might have heard, "For the Lord is my tower."
Yeah. My daughter sings that song.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the actions.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I used to live in we live in a very small place in Bombay. So my mom used to put that every day in the morning. And she used to wake me up. And you know how much you hate it when that happens. There are two things you hate: listening to loud music in the morning, that's gospel, and somebody turning off the fan or the AC.
I'm sure you learned all the lyrics of the song.
Yeah.
When it was played every day.
I didn't like it.
But you learned it. Subconsciously, you learned it.
Subconsciously,
You
I
just
learned
learned
it. And then there's something funny that happened is Steve Kuban came to Dubai and I had the opportunity to meet him. It was kind of like a love-hate meeting kind of. And he met me and he's like, I met him and I told him, you were somebody I hated when I was growing up. And he's like, wow, that's very honest of you. And we told him, but now I really love what you did. And it has some great change in my life.
Has the kind of music you will listen to as you grew up, like while you were growing up, whatever secular music, has that influenced the kind of music you write, or has tried to cover any influences in your Christian music?
I think for you, this is
Yeah,
more, because
actually,
Keegan writes most of the music for the band, so I think
Right.
it's better if he answers this question.
Yeah, I not me, but we all get together and compose. But I think so. All of us, when we are not just writing our own songs, but picking songs for the retreats that we have, we bring our flavor to the entire playlist.
Yeah.
So I pick more rock and more heavy songs. Larina would pick more pop and slow songs.
Larina, you play the keyboard. They say a keyboardist is the actual what do you call it, designer, if I have to put it that way, designer of actual
She's the
songwriter.
director. Yeah, she's the director.
So, do you disagree, or you say no? I mean, I know you're very sweet and
No,
you're
but
always
so
smiling,
it's
but
always
has it ever been Larina like, you know what? This is not happening.
See, because what happens is in a praise and worship, you're going to have more than one song.
Yeah.
So everyone gets their say.
Right.
So if I don't agree with a song that he does, I can always choose another song of my genre
Right.
in another, part of the worship or something.
I think
like that.
I
It's
think
fine.
you can manage Keegan. What about the other band members? I
No,
think you
we-
can tell him once you get home. You can tell Keegan. You know what this.
So it's actually kind of strange. We have a lot of disagreements sometimes on
Right.
the songs that we have to select, and then we all sit down and we are like, okay, we're going to get a large piece of paper. Everyone gets a sheet, and all of us pray. We sit down for 5 minutes, pray, and then everyone writes down their top 5 songs, and then we see which is the common songs, and that gets
Right,
selected.
Yeah, mostly we
Yeah.
disapprove the songs from our bassist
Right,
because
right.
he picks really old songs
Right.
from the 1970s and all of that, and which we have not heard. And he's the youngest in the band. So I'm just kidding. But yeah, Larina has a big say. She's just lying right now. But she has a big say. She'll be like, no. And we're like, okay, mom.
The
we'll do
noise
that."
enough, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, you mentioned last time we spoke, you mentioned about at the World Youth Day, there was a lady who gifted you a statue of Mother Mary.
Mother
Yes.
Mary,
But it was Our Lady of
Kibbehu.
Kibbehu.
I think so.
How Our Lady has helped you guys grow as a band? If you can talk about that.
Yeah, so for the praise and worship that we were supposed to have on the barge, obviously no one really came for that show. But right after that, backstage, we met this one lady who was there in the crowd, and she came up to us and she said, I was so touched by the praise and worship that you guys led, and God is telling me to give you something that's very close to my heart. And she got this little statue of Mother Mary that was carved into wood, and we couldn't recognize which Our Lady it was. And she said, I got this statue from Africa, and we didn't even know that there was an apparition of Our Lady in Africa. So we were totally clueless about this.
Yeah.
So we decided to anyway keep her with us. And ever since that point, whenever we are supposed to lead praise and worship, even if it's a really small praise and worship in a small gathering with just the band members,
Right.
even if it's as small as that, we always have her with us during the praise and worship.
Yes, you mentioned for anything or anywhere you guys are playing, you guys always have. Was it there for the last youth months that you have performed at?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
We
It's always there.
we never forget, or if we do forget, she never forgets.
You know,
Yes.
So she's always there for us.
Yeah, she'll always end up in someone's bag or in someone's equipment bag, or I don't know how, but she always makes her way into someone's bag, even if we've forgotten.
So, guys, next time you see a place perform, be it the church or anywhere, you gotta have to notice this Mother Mary statue. This is the keyword, yeah?
It's mostly on
It's
my
mostly
keyboard
on
because
the
I'm the
keyboard.
only one with the stand.
Okay, it's on the keyboard. Abhinav, they say perseverance is actually a testing. It's the key to during testing times. You need to be persistent in what you do. Anything that you want to talk about?
So we've been through a lot as a band for the last 6 years and counting. Now we've had so many times when we've had praise and worships here, there. We've had to travel. We've had overnight things. We've had to play after work, travel after work, and things like that. And we've had attacks, spiritual attacks, physical attacks. It's difficult. We've had so many times when our worst comes to a test just before a praise and worship. We're almost, maybe at work we'll be completely bogged down by work, or someone will do something over there and we have to come for practice. And, sometimes you have the tendency to bring that into the practice, and it's really difficult. I remember recently we had played for the Avosa family retreat, and just before that, a week before that, many of us fell sick. One of our the bassist in the band fractured. He sprained his leg. He cut his leg, and he was almost
stitches,
he had
he had
stitches.
stitches.
It's really difficult, but we know that whatever we are doing is God's work, and whenever you do God's work, there is someone who doesn't like it,
Right.
and there's always going to be something He's going to try and do to test you.
Exactly.
And God is sometimes going to allow that, the same way as He allowed, Job's illness,
Yes.
to know whether that test in that test, whether you are going to give glory to God or you're going to fall for it and grumble. So we've been through so much, but at the end of it, God has always triumphed, and He'll never give you more than you can endure. So,
I really want to emphasize on spiritual attacks because it's so real. Keegan, do you want to share something?
Yeah, so
on
spiritual attacks like happen in two ways. One can be mental and one can be physical, actual physical attacks. We know this from the life of Padre Pio, Like we've heard that he was actually physically attacked by the devil. For me, just this one small instance, I think so I've not shared this before, but when we were going for this has happened to me many times when we have to go for a retreat, suddenly something would come up at work. And they'll be like, oh, it's a working weekend and the retreat is on the weekend. And I'm like, oh.
Okay.
And I just tell the
and this has
band,
happened many times.
I just tell the band, guys, I think I have to work. And they were like, all right, we'll say a prayer. This happened last time when we were at the World Meeting of Families. I joined a new place and they were like, oh, we might have to work on the weekend. And I'm like, oh my God, no, again, this is going to happen again. But I trusted God. And can you believe it? I was not called into work.
Wow.
Everybody else was called into work and they're like, oh, Keegan, you don't need to come.
You don't need to come. Wow.
So that was God's way of doing that. And it has happened to me sometimes where I have had this physical attack when I'm sleeping and the science calls it sleep paralysis. And I believe that science has an answer to that. It's called sleep paralysis. And it has happened to me quite often just before a retreat or if I've prayed for somebody, then suddenly I'll get sleep paralysis when I'm asleep at around 3 o'clock-ish, 2 o'clock-ish. I don't know why 3 o'clock-ish. Devil? No. But at around 3 o'clock-ish, I feel like there is something sitting on my chest and choking me or there is some kind of an evil presence that I can feel. And I can see Larina. I look at Larina. I'm trying to call her, but nothing happens. But when I say Jesus, that grip, that hold, just is left. Now, some might say, "Oh, it is all psychological. There is a science to it." I believe there might
in a
be.
British accent.
Yeah, there might be. I think there might be.
Right.
But I'm calling my wife's name. Nothing is happening. Are you saying that I don't love my wife enough? But no, I take Jesus' name and the strongholds are broken. So yes, there is a science part, but there is also a supernatural part to it that happens. And if God is real, then the devil is 100% real. And if we are just acting stupid by saying that these supernatural things don't happen, if God is real, then the devil is real. And the devil is, you can see it.
Exactly.
You can see him in all the things.
There's a song also that goes, there's power in the name of Jesus.
Yes.
I think it's so true. I mean,
it breaks every chain.
Exactly.
It's not just the song lyrics, it actually happens.
Yes.
Sometimes as humans, we have the tendency to go with our own thoughts or plans. But God's ways are so much more different.
Yes.
Have you experienced that as a couple and as a band? Or as a band? I mean, either ways you can.
Yeah. I think God has always been with us, no matter what. He has never left us. And like in Romans 8:38, it says, God will never, there is nothing that can separate you from the love of God. So the same way, no matter what we do as a band, we might have our own shortcomings, we'll have our own weaknesses, our failures, but nothing will keep us away from God. He has his own ways. It's mysterious.
Right.
He'll find a person, he'll find a situation, somehow he's going to get you back. He's going to put someone in your life. Like a few of us sometimes have our periods of dryness, and then one member in the band probably, or someone external to the band might have an experience, a really important God experience, and when they share it with us, the faith of the entire band is revived. So God has different ways of doing things which are really beautiful.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I believe God doesn't change everything overnight.
Yeah.
We expect that. He does when he has to. But I think so for us as a band and also in our personal life, we are married. So there's a lot of things that have happened. Like just for the instance of when we went to Poland, we had a lot of, as I said, we had a lot of obstacles. We had a lot of obstacles from the people who we were going to, and there was issues like, we can't play, we can't do that, and all of that. And God was really testing us to see how much we love our enemies. I would not say enemies, but he was testing us how much we love people who
Not
are
friends.
not friends or
Not
who are
friends.
against
Let's put
us.
that.
Yeah.
So there was an entire issue that happened, and there was a big hue and cry about it. But we decided to go with God's plans rather than human intervention. Like humans can tell, no, don't go.
Right.
Yeah, but if God has given you that opportunity, and you say no to that, just for human intervention, it can go anywhere.
Exactly.
That day when we said yes to God changed the entire script of what the band had.
Exactly.
And I feel God is really funny. He's
He
super
is,
funny.
he
He's
is, he is.
hilarious.
Yeah.
I don't know if I know we all want to show God as this person sitting in the sky with a long beard. No, he is a comedian. Look at us. We look funny. Man, we created in such a funny way. We are humor
Yeah.
makes us happy.
Exactly.
And if it wasn't, then God would. That shows that God doesn't have. We always have that God doesn't have that sense of humor, but He has.
That's
He's
why
super
we have.
hilarious. Yeah. And I remember after this entire event of whatever happened, and there was a priest who told us something. Yeah, like he said, don't go. On the day when we were going for the concert, he said, God bless you. It was like, how Jesus told John, that get behind me, Satan. Telling the Pope, first Pope, get behind me, Satan. Yeah. So
The people knew that.
people knew that.
Yeah.
So when it came to the priest, he came to me and he said, he told us, God bless you. Can you believe it? Every time I go to Jabal Ali for confession, he's the only priest. And imagine me, I'm like, oh my God, I fought with this father. Now he
You're going to
knows
confess that.
I have to, like, forgive me, Father, because I spoke against you. Yes, I know.
In your mind, you'll be like, ghum fir ke wahi.
Yeah. No, see, even that is how God
Exactly.
is humbling
Yeah.
me.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because that fight might have been somewhere
Yeah.
my pride.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
And he's just humbling me by saying, listen, you need to come down to this and people will reject you.
I think that's an amazing way, as you mentioned, God being funny and having a sense of humor. I can totally relate to that because God has this funny way of humbling yourself. You'll be like, no, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
And then you're like, you wait for months for something, and those 6 months leads you to that person or that place or that office or that job.
Correct.
And in your mind, you're like, okay, God, let's just do this. Let's just do this. Yeah.
We expect God
Yeah.
to come in like a big bang.
Yeah.
But our God is the God of even small things. And I think some messages are given in small ways.
Yeah.
So if you're looking for that big message, just wait and look at the small things that happen around you. Because if we hadn't played that day, our place would not have been.
And not only that,
Today.
like when we think about it in hindsight, if we hadn't gone there, 10,000 people wouldn't have received Jesus on that day.
Exactly.
You know?
Imagine.
I mean, just one yes. It's like Mother Mary's yes. No?
Yes.
If she wouldn't have said yes, like
Imagine we would
Just-
all not be
Yeah.
saved.
exactly. I mean, look at what happened to humanity just because she said
What would
yes.
happen then?
It's Mother of God, yeah.
The next episode of What If?
What if? Exactly. What if? What if we all say yes to God? I think it's really important to say yes. I think the next question is also important. And it's got to do with young people. I want to ask you, Keegan, as a musician, that's of course relatable to so many youth in the parish in UAE. How do you feel reaching out to a lot of young people? Because of course we've all had experiences, we've all had past. We've spoken before, and I can relate to what you've experienced, your past and stuff. How do you feel reaching out to the youth of today and sharing those experiences of what you went through? Because I'm sure you've got so many things to share to the young guys, to the youth.
See, I think so. The most important part is I remember one preacher saying this, I would rather have a room of 15 youth than 60 old people. Because that 15 youth have the power to get their parents, their siblings, their friends, and everybody.
Right.
Like, it's very difficult for a mom to take you to a prayer meeting.
Yeah,
But it's very difficult for you. It's easy to take your mom to a prayer meeting.
Yeah.
So that's the part, it's very important. And youth are very difficult to address. Look at the world that we are living in. It's really in chaos right now.
Yeah.
And what everybody at a young age is expecting is just to be accepted.
Exactly.
And I feel sometimes we go away from that. We don't accept the youth for who they are. And I really like to call the youth misfits.
Misfits.
They don't fit in. They don't really fit in. The entire system, they don't fit in that. I've known so many people, that who have been misfits and have come to God. A Bible is a book of misfits.
Exactly.
It's not a book of perfect people. It's a book of perfect God using imperfect people to do His perfect plan. Right? So it's all about being misfits. I look at me. I'm a complete misfit. I come from an advertising background, and in advertising, you lie a lot. It's Satan's industry mostly, but God has a plan even for that. I used to be in advertising in India, and India is so open, And then I got called to Dubai out of nowhere. And I used to wonder why Dubai. And then one of my friends, who's the drummer of our band, Anthony, told me, Keegan, maybe God brought you to Dubai because there are restrictions over here, and that you don't go far away from your creativity and goes far away from what He preaches.
Right.
In India, it's all about talking about sex and all of that in advertising. And that's what He does,
Right.
And we don't take topics for the youth that are important. We shy away. And that's what the youth want. They want their questions to be answered.
Answer, exactly.
They want difficult questions to be answered, not simple ones.
Right.
I've heard God's love being preached 10,000 times at every prayer meeting. The youth don't want that.
Right.
They've heard that.
Right.
They've heard that from catechism. What they want is they want the real answers, I really believe is we sometimes as church shy away from that. We don't want to get the misfits in. The problem with us is in church, I'm believers, is we are trying to save the saved.
There are a lot of a lot of these youth in our Catholic Church who are born Catholics but are drifting apart. A lot of these guys are leaving the church, and there are so many things that are happening. But a lot of these guys don't know the reason. What do you think we should do? Because our intention for everything that we're doing, even this podcast, even CHARIS Youth was formed with the intention to reach out to these people, not to people, exactly as you said, not to reach out to people who are already saved.
Correct.
We want to reach out to the 1% out of the 100%. It's 1% that's lost, that's actually doesn't know what's happening. What do you think? We guys should do, us as individuals or us as a church, because it's really important to reach out to these guys, because we need to save these guys.
So first thing is, I'll just tell you something, right? For me, I never call myself as changed.
Work in
I call
progress.
myself changing.
Because
if you
progressive.
look at
You are progressive.
I think I will reach complete perfection is the day that I die, and that's when God has finished His plan with me. But every day I see Him changing things that He doesn't like about me.
Right. And you're accepting that.
Yeah,
You're accepting the change.
I'm not saying I'm a perfect human being. I think so. Nobody can say that. Even the Pope goes for confession.
Exactly.
So that if you have sinned or if you have this, don't get bogged down saying that the church can't forgive me. No sin is too big for God to forgive.
Exactly.
And that's the entire thing, that we have to understand, that we have to stop judging the people that we have. If I can be a change in a place where there is evil, if I can show Jesus in a place there is evil, and I can change one soul, that can have a ripple effect of saving others.
I had this friend called Kerwin, very good friend of mine. We're still friends. I need to say had.
Okay.
I have a very good friend, it's named Kerwin from Bombay, and Kerwin and I, back in the day, I'm talking about like 5 or 6 years back, not too long ago. We used to chill we used to do all kinds of stuff, and you know. And Kerwin had a very powerful experience when he attended a retreat at Tabor. Okay, 4-day retreat. All of a sudden, Kerwin disappears, goes for a retreat. I'm like, kahan gaya hai? We're all searching for Kerwin, you know. And Kerwin shows up, all changed. He's like, I'm not drinking, and you know, I'm not doing this, I'm not doing that, you know, all that stuff. And we're wondering what happened. So we thought it's just a phase, you know, he'll come back and all that stuff, you know. So we let it be. But Kerwin did not change. Kerwin is the way he is. His whole perception of life changed so much. I still remember Kerwin used to come for our parties. He used to come home. He used to leave at 3 in the morning. Our party used to go until like 7 in the morning. But he used to leave 3 in the morning, not drink, have maza, you know, or limca, whatever, you know, gold spot.
Gold spot.
It's too old, actually.
Gold spot, man.
He used to have all those. He used to finish all the snacks, you know, all the chakli,
Chakna
all the
is over.
chakna, all the
Kerwin
chakna.
ate all the chakna.
All the chakna used to get over. But
Have those friends.
Kerwin used to leave at 3 in the morning. He used to be teased by everyone. I should not do that, but he used to be teased by everyone. Every time Kerwin used to enter the room, he's like, Father aaya, Father aaya.
Padri.
The priest has come, you know, translation, priest has come, priest has come. We used to tease him that because he became so holy, and it's good to be holy. Now, one thing that I noticed was Kerwin, every time he left the room, every time he left for home, he used to stand at the altar in front of everyone, not being ashamed of anything. Stand at the altar, I don't know what he used to say, whisper a prayer, I'm sure, like for 2 minutes and leave. You know, he leave. And I always wondered, man, this guy, like, you know, these guys are teasing, and this guy is not ashamed, bold enough to share his faith. And a few years go by, I change.
Amen.
I'm in CHARIS hosting this podcast. You know, when the change happened 2 or 3 years, 2 years back, when change happened with me, you know, Holy Spirit talks to you, like, you know, who you need to thank for, who you need to, you know, be acknowledged, you know, who needs to be acknowledged. And, you know, Kerwin's name came, and I was like, you know,
Wow.
And this happened, you know, my wife shared this, and Michelle said this to me, like, you know, Rocky, I'm sure it was Kerwin also, because Kerwin every time, he did not come to party, he did not drink, he did not come to party. But Kerwin, every time he whispered, I'm sure that prayer was whispering for his friends to change.
Yeah.
Not all changed, but this sheep came back.
You don't need it. You just need it
Yeah,
one.
you need one.
Now look at what you're doing.
Exactly.
You're changing so many.
Exactly. So, you know, I owe it to Kerwin and all those guys who pray. So I think that's really important, you know, is what you do. And I was a misfit, as you mentioned, I was a misfit. This misfit is back. Yeah, man.
So that's what anybody who's listening and you feel that you're not fitting in.
Right, yeah.
You've done rubbish. You've probably done all the things in the world. You've done drugs. You drink. You smoke. You do anything. You did it.
Yeah.
It's okay. Our God is a God of mercy, right?
Yeah.
And all you need to do is just come back.
Yeah.
Just take one step, because once you take a step to God, He runs the distance for you. And that's all you need, man. That's all you need. Today, if you're listening, just go to your room, shut the door, switch off the lights, and say, God, I am here. Change me if you want to. Not immediately, not overnight, but change me slowly and let me be who I want to be. And I'm telling you, you're going to write down in this comments, in this channel, that it has changed me. Not today, not tomorrow, maybe 3 years later. But we'll look at it and we'll say that, oh, somebody has changed.
The misfits are back.
Yeah, the misfits are back, man. Yeah.
All right. Silveira's amazing. Now we're going to talk about you guys. Okay. Okay. So, how did you guys meet? That's the really important stuff. How did you guys meet?
The love story.
Love story.
By
Share some
Larina.
pyar ki kahaniyan.
Yes.
How did you guys meet?
The next story is by Yash Raj Chopra, and Larina is going to tell you about it. Yeah, Larry.
So I think I get my small part in before Keegan goes with his story is quite elaborate. So for me, I started praying for a partner probably when I was, I don't know, maybe I was in 10th grade or something. I was quite
10th
young.
grade, I wanted to see which WWF trump card I had. Trump card I had?
But that's nice to hear, because not many people do that.
Yeah,
I mean,
but
10th grade.
I honestly owe it to my parents, because they started taking us for retreats to Divine Retreat Center in
You were
Pune.
not worried about your percentage in 10th grade.
No, I was scoring well anyway.
problem of people who end up as copywriters.
Okay, yeah.
So I owed to my parents seriously because they used to take us to Pota for retreats, and I think we started going there when I was in 5th grade or something. So by the time I reached 11th, I had that's how long it took for me to actually have my God experience. And in around 10th, 11th grade, I had my God experience, and that's when I started praying for a partner. And I remember going to India every year and praying, I need a good partner. I need someone that I can always pray with and be close to God with, be able to praise and worship God with music and things like that. And then finally around 2012, I'd gone for a retreat again to Pota, and that's where I met Keegan. And turns out I had met Keegan much before it, but I can't remember that. But my first memory of Keegan was in 2012 in Divine Retreat Center. And we kind of became kind of friends just on Facebook. We really became friends when he came to Dubai and he started working over here, and that's where we met in the band. So we were together for a while, and that's how we started liking each other.
So Keegan, Larina shared her part. Okay, she was praying for a boy, and of course God answered her prayers. She found you, Mr. Keegan. What about you?
So
when did you start praying?
In 10th grade, I prayed that I could pass my math exam because I had got only 10 out of 100 in my maths.
Okay.
Amazing feat. 3 in maths 1, 7 in maths 2. Clear remembrance.
Okay, I got that in 9th grade. Dad was not happy.
Yeah,
of course.
10th grade, I was.
Okay.
You know how your if you're brought up in an Indian household, your relatives don't call you any other time. They call you when the 10th results are.
Exactly.
How much he got? And my mom that time she forgets she's Christian. He got 80%.
Okay.
But all throughout my college, I because I was not very close to God, I didn't make any prayer like that. Right. I was in different relationships, and some were good, some were not good. Mostly all were not good. But when I came to Dubai, I started praying because I got a little closer to God. When you're away from family, it's good sometimes. You get closer to God. So I was praying and I was looking at these beautiful priests at St. Mary's. Yeah, they live the life. So I was like, wow, it's so amazing. I was like, I want to become a priest in my head. Right. So I went to my friend and I'm like, I think I'm going to become a priest. And he's like, wait, talk to my brother who is now a priest, praise God.
Okay, wow.
Ask him about your vocation. And my friend is not like, he's not very close to God and all. He's but his brother is priest. Okay. So I spoke to his brother and he's like, Keegan, you're lonely. You don't want God. You're just lonely. You want companionship and you think priesthood will give you companionship. And I thought that was a clear answer from God. So I went back to the drawing board and I started praying. And I started taking names of people to God and he didn't say anything. One day, that same friend had gone to India, was coming back. I had to pick him up from the airport. It was a Friday, I clearly remember this. And there was First Friday adoration happening. So I said, before I pick him up, I'll pray. And I'll pray about my life, what is happening around my life. And I prayed. And I started taking names of girls. Not going to announce them now, otherwise controversy will happen. But
while you were praying?
Yeah, while I was praying, I was like, God, this one, that one,
like your trump cards?
Yeah. This one, that one. Yeah. Nothing happened.
Okay.
God is like, no. And then I said, okay, I'll shut my mouth and I'm going to ask you to tell me who it is. Yeah. And I shut my mouth and I sat and I heard Larina's name.
Wow.
My ear. As clear as somebody would say it in my ear.
Wow.
I sat and I was scared. I was very scared. And I turned around and there's nobody. It felt like there was a human voice, okay? So I was like, okay, this is God talking, clearly. So I need to shut up. And then I started creating scenarios of why this won't work. And God said, you keep quiet and you see how things happen.
Okay.
And no way did Larina show interest in me or did I show interest in her. We used to fight like crazy in the back.
We were called Tom and Jerry.
Yeah, we used to fight. And I used to not do it out of love. I was like, I'm just bullying her. I'm kind of a bully.
Right.
Like that. So I was bullying her. Not anything like that happened. So I was like, all right, I'm not going to do anything. because I was from Xavier's. One of my friends had taught me the art of flirting. And I said, I will not do any of this. I'll teach anybody who wants art of flirting, message me. My phone number will be in the comment section below. No, but I'm just kidding. So here, I said, I'm not going to do anything to impress her. I'm just going to take it normal. How we are, we'll be that way. Many months down the line, I went for counseling. To somebody who does inner healing, and he knows me very well. And he told me, "You like that girl, no?" He has no clue.
Directly.
He does this all the time.
Directly.
He just creeps me out. Like, you like that girl? I was like, who told you? Obviously, God told me. I was like, yeah. And he's like, no, but you'll have difficulties. Pray to God and all of that. We had a lot of difficulties between us because it was me. I think so. I built the blocks that were there. But eventually, God, worked. And I remember we started dating and there were issues and there were obstructions and there were obstacles that were there. But God removed all of them. He had to change hearts of many, and I was trying my best to change the hearts. Imagine, we are in an Indian family.
Right.
Larina is a very good Mangalorean girl, engineer.
Wow.
I am Keegan with long hair. Look at me right now, and see if you think I am good for your daughter. You'd be like, this guy's a drug addict, or he's drinking a lot of alcohol. But
What does he do professionally?
what does he do professionally? He's a writer. Oh my God.
Copywriter.
वो क्या करता है? Copy करता है. What does he do?
Copy paste.
Control C, Control V. My mother doesn't know what I do. So anybody asks my mother, what does Keegan do? He writes. I'm just sending mom money home for the kharchas. It's okay. But so just imagine, your parents, they want good for you. Yeah.
Right.
So there were things that were not working out. But then God, I was trying to change a lot on my own. But God said, no, I will change. And He changed.
Right.
He changed so many things. All the things that Larina's parents or my parents would have in their mind all went away.
Right.
And then we had to decide when to get married because Larina, what you did, you gave me
I gave him an ultimatum.
Ultimatum.
Yeah. She wanted to get married before at a certain age.
Yeah.
So she gave me an ultimatum. And boys, we get cold feet. Marriage.
Yeah, so it just happened that every year he would be like, yeah, we need a little time to plan. So it would get postponed. And then it would get postponed again. And at one point I said, we are not going any further. This is it. You decide a date. And so I gave him the calendar of the following year. They said, choose a date.
And then we decided something to do that
Yes.
would really. Yesterday we met our friend Anthony. And he told us there are 2 weddings in his life that he was really touched and he felt they were sacramentally blessed. One was his sister's and one was ours.
Wow.
And I'm not boasting about this, but what we had done is we decided to have a wedding like the wedding feast of Cana.
Wow.
We decided that if you read the wedding feast of Cana, do you know the names of the people who got married?
No.
You know who are the 2 people you know the names in that story? Jesus and Mary.
Yeah.
That's it. There's nobody else you know about. And that's what we decided to do. So we decided that we'll get married on
8th of September. We actually have our anniversary next week.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, maybe. This is releasing.
This is releasing on 8th of September.
8th of September.
8th of
Oh, it has
September.
already gone. Okay. So
We'll see.
Yeah. Oh, we'll see. But yeah, so the thing is we decided 8th of September we will get married. We decided to do little things that would make a difference. For our invitation card, we had attached a rosary and a card which teach you how to say the rosary because we were
For
giving
all
it
our non-Christian
to our
friends.
non-Christian friends. So they would not throw our cards away.
Right.
So we gave that. We gave the card to our to the priest, and he was like, "What? You have a rosary in your card?" And it was surprising, but we wanted to do that. We paid more attention to the mass than to the party. So everything
It's supposed to be that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're listening and you're a youth, pay attention to the mass. The party will fall in place.
Yeah.
Because Jesus is there, nothing will be empty. Yeah, when
Exactly.
you plan wedding feast of Cana.
Yeah.
So we planned the mass, we planned the readings and everything. And Larina and I did something which was very important, I believe, is to be chaste. And Larina and I made sure that we were chaste till the time we were married. And I didn't kiss Larina till the time we were married. So the only thing I kissed was her forehead. That's it. And we held hands, but that was the biggest, that was the maximum we could do. I'm not saying be like Keegan, you can kiss.
Everyone is different. Yeah.
Everybody's different. Everyone's. You have to understand where your line is. don't play around with that line because it
Right.
can be difficult. But we did that, and we went to the priest and we told him like, Father, can you just announce that you can kiss the bride? Father's like, why?
Filipino
Why?
priest.
Father Jean.
Oh,
Father
Yeah,
Jean.
Father Jean, yeah.
Father Jean.
Father Jean, he's like looking, he's like, why? I was like, I've never kissed her. He felt Mother Mary came. He's like, you guys haven't kissed? I was like, yeah, no. And I remember for my wedding, the entire thing, the most beautiful part was when I first kissed my bride, because that kiss was blessed
Amen.
by Jesus. And my friends knew that I had not kissed her. Yeah.
So
we
they're like,
kissed.
"Ooh."
Yes.
Kissed. Never has this happened at mass. Everyone goes, like
Finally!
like somebody scored a goal. The father turns back and goes,
Yeah,
what are you doing here?
What is happening?
Yeah, but it was the first time, and I'm telling you guys, I was looking for, it's not easy. We live in a highly sexualized world.
Right.
And you are asked to do these things, yeah. And I was looking for inspiration for people, and I saw this band called For King and Country, and their lead
For King
singer,
and
who
Country, yeah.
lives in America, in a very sexualized society, never kissed his wife. I live in Dubai, which is an Islamic country, which is very easy to do. So I was like, why can't I?
Never kissed his wife before getting married.
Yeah,
Yeah,
before-
yeah. Oh, after that, he has to. That would be very weird.
I think you actually covered
Yeah.
answer to my next question. Yeah. So I let Larina go on this one. So Larina, what are your marriage tips or your relationship tips for our youth, our young singles who are contemplating marriage? What do you like to share?
Okay, for me, it is mostly like in this world, we all, live our own kind of life. We have a different face in front of people and a different face behind closed doors. Many people don't, even our own family members may not know what we are like in real life. And what happens is these individual people with their different faces come together as a couple and they get married. And when they are dating, it's always like you'll put your best foot forward, you'll show the best sides, your most lovey-dovey sides and all of that jazz. But then once you're married, you come together and you live as one person. You get to see the worst, you get to see the best, everything is there. But it's so important to be understanding, to be accommodating, to understand the other person's point of view, to make space in your egoistic self for another person to have an equal opportunity to love and even walk towards God. It is really, really important to be able to make space in your life for another person. A very, very, very important thing is to give God the first place. It is a true fact that marriage is not about two people. It is marriages of three people, which is the bride, the groom, and God, because it is a sacrament that you administer to the other person. And that sacrament cannot be lived fully if God is not there. And so whenever you leave God out of that equation, your marriage is then just a face value marriage, and then any small thing can break it easily. One of the things that I learned from Keegan from one of his from his past World Youth days, he had seen this really amazing couple, Jason and Kristalina Everett,
Yeah.
and there was this quote that Kristalina said, and she said, "For girls, do not." Or don't or be with the person or be with this guy.
Get married.
Or get married. Yeah, get married to the person who lifts the veil of your face before he lifts the veil of your body. And so that is so important, because in today's world, it's so easy to give into the pleasures of life. But to stay chaste, to stay pure is so much more difficult and takes
Exactly.
so much more grace to do that.
It takes so much more courage to say
It
no.
does.
no?
It does. It is. I mean,
Imagine your boyfriend making basa and you say no.
yeah.
He's going to
It
make
is.
he's making a
Yeah.
fool of you in front of everybody. I know how boys are. But it's a good point for boys also, that if you really love the girl, you would respect her.
What's your advice for, I know you shared with something that's pre-marriage.
Yeah.
Are you guys are married for like 4
No,
years?
it's gonna be
5 years
4
now?
years
It's gonna
now.
be 4 years.
4 years. It's long enough. to know someone.
but now, considering the
long
times
enough-
now, phone is long.
It's long enough to
Very long
know.
phone.
It's long enough to know someone because especially when you're dating and you don't live together, of course, so you don't know the person. How the person is, his behaviors.
Yeah, of course.
Larina made some weird faces when I said that. I don't know why. We're gonna talk to her
My
later.
obsession with Funko
Yeah, the
Pops.
Funko Pops.
Yeah. So I think what do you guys want to share? How is it like? What your experiences after marriage, post marriage? Tips,
So I have just a tip for the boys, especially in India, because we come from Indian backgrounds and all of that. And so a lot of families break up because their moms and wives don't. And I remember this happened in the time we were doing family, what is it called?
Marriage preparation.
Marriage preparation, family preparation, marriage preparation.
Which is also
which is
family
kind of that
preparation.
only.
They teach you that as well.
Yeah,
So,
they ask this question: who would you pick
Right.
if something there's an argument? Who would you pick, your mother or your wife? What would you pick, Rocky?
Huh? Really.
Right.
Wife.
Okay,
of
so
course.
everybody, Rocky
Right.
is now in Christ, so he's, the Holy Spirit has revealed the answers to him. But many Indian boys were like, yeah, my mother, I have to take care of my mother. She took care of me all my life. Okay, all of this happened, and everybody was like, okay, nobody answered back. Then there was a guy from Africa. Okay, he just put his hand down, and he went up and he said, my mother is my father's responsibility.
Exactly.
My wife
Is
is
my
my
responsibility.
responsibility. I will respect my mother, but my responsibility is my wife. And when he sat down, the entire hall started clapping. So, for boys out there, yes, your mother is the most beautiful person and you love her and all of that, but make sure that your wife is first, because in the Bible it says when husband and wife become one, they become one and they leave their father's and mother's house. So it's biblical. It's not experiential. It's biblical.
You know what, Keegan and Larina, I was going to ask you I always do this at the end of every podcast. I ask guys to share your pearls of wisdom, but I believe this entire podcast has been a pearl of wisdom for us, So I don't think I'm gonna do that. I'm just going to thank you. So thank you guys for coming over,
Thank you for having us.
Thank you
for saying yes to us. Just like you did at the World Youth Day, you guys are the yes guys. Keep saying yes to the Lord, and I'm sure this entire podcast has empowered more and more youth. At least one sheep, the sheep that we spoke about, at least one sheep to do good, to come back to Christ, and kudos to you guys, kudos to everything that you guys have been doing
Praise
for
God.
Ablaze. We'll pray for you. We'll keep us
Thank you
in
so
praise, and thank you once again. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for inviting us here.
Yes.
We really had a good time. Yeah, right?
Awesome. Awesome. Stay tuned, guys. We have a special performance at the end of the show, so don't go anywhere. Keegan and Larina are going to perform an amazing song, so stay right there. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in the 4th episode of Seat of Wisdom podcast presented by Youth of CHARIS UAE. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on our Instagram at charisyouth.uae. That is CHARISYOUTH.UAE. Listen on Anchor, Radio Public, Pocket Cast, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and Breaker. Stay tuned for more. God bless.
You put your word in my heart, and you opened my eyes. Oh my Lord, I know I didn't believe, but now I realize.
Lord, you love me so dear that on the cross you died. You paid the price for my brokenness and won for me a new life.
Set me ablaze with your love, set me ablaze with your power, and this fire that is burning me, I will use it to spread your light. weak one, oh Lord, but now I realize.
So I give you my heart, use it to glorify. Teach me the way of your love, oh Lord. Now I can
testify. Set me ablaze with your love. Set me ablaze with your power. And this fire that is burning in me, I will use it to spread your love. Set me ablaze with your love. Set me ablaze with your power. And this fire that is burning in me, I will use it to spread your life. Yeah, 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 yeah. I was in the dark, then he came and gave me life. The world put me down, then he came and raised me high. No more fear, cause I know you're with me. I know, Lord, that you set me free. Cause the pain and suffering coming, I'm gonna run again. Suffering is the last for me, pain is the last for me. God is my only word, sharp like a two-edged sword, Lord of yours. I give you my word. Set me ablaze with your love. Set me ablaze with your power. And this fire that is burning in me, I will use it to spread your light. Set me ablaze with your love. Set me ablaze with your love. Set me ablaze with your power. And this fire that is burning in me, I will use it to spread your light.